Alright, welcome back to Blackphoenix Entertainment vlog. We're going to talk about some Ryker-specific stuff, because I know I've been slacking, and there have been some questions, so I want to talk about all the modes that come with this Can Am Ryker Sport. What each mode does, how do you get into the modes, and how much fun you can have into each mode. So, first thing we're going to do, we're going to talk about just the regular, flat-out standard mode that you just go around and ride in. Then you got Eco mode, then you got Sport mode, and if you've got a passenger and you got the rear pegs, you can also have 2-up mode. What I don't have, because this is not a rally, is also rally mode. I'll talk about that at the end of the video. But first, let's just talk about regular old standard mode. So that's the mode that happens when you just fire up the Ryker, turn it on, boom, done. You got your standard LCD screen there. And let's, for fun, let's just turn on the LEDs so people can see us in this empty parking lot. So this is it. This is what you see. Standard mode. Take your parking brake off. Standard mode. F. Done. This is what you do everyday riding. This is the mode you want to be in. It just gives you the standard settings, standard VSS settings, standard traction control, standard stability control, throttle response, stuff like that, standard fuel economy, all of that. And yeah, you just roll on it. And before I start rolling on it, a good point, no matter what mode you are in, the clutch will always engage at 1800 RPMs. So, no, they talk about throttle response. It won't actually engage until the same RPM. That's something that could be changed with some clutching and stuff like that, but don't worry about that. I just want to make that a point. No matter what mode you're in, no matter what people claim about throttle response, it is not going to engage until 1800 RPMs. So, as we roll on, as you see that, just standard mode. Just going. It's just going to do, you know, standard things. Let you just go on it a little bit. And in this mode, you can have standard fun. I'll call it that, standard fun. But as soon as you start to push it, it is not going to let you drift. It's not going to let you kind of lift a wheel or do anything like that. It's going to shut you down before you get to any of that. So I'm not going to spend that much time on standard mode. It is what it is. You ride it when you just want to ride. You just want to get to point A to point B. So I had mentioned 2-up mode. I'm going to talk about that real quick. So as you can see here, I have the ultimate seat and I have the rear footrests from slingmods. If you have the Can Am stuff, you will have the Can Am footrests that kind of sit up in here. To get up into 2-up mode that way, you would put your footrest down. To do it on the slingmods, they give you this cool little knob. So I'm going to turn this to the on position. Now, we're going to look at the display here. But you can see these two little people right there. That tells you that you are in 2-up mode. And you're probably saying, okay, cool, you're in 2-up mode now. What does that do? It severely limits the VSS stability control and stuff like that to the point where they basically, you don't want to whip your passenger, whoever that may be, off the back. It's just not good. So it'll limit throttle response. It'll pretty much dumb down everything to the point where it's safe for 2 people to be riding. So, for example, let's go. So, and when I say that, the power is still there. It's just going to take you a little bit more throttle to get there. And, you know, instantly, that little turn right there, I felt the VSS kick in. Because that's where it really comes in. Like, as soon as you get a little bit throttle, yeah, it wants to kick back. We'll do a right-hand turn here. See, it already, I don't know if the camera can pick up that sound, but you could already hear the ABS and the traction control kick in. That's where 2-up mode shines. Not so much in a straight line, but if you're hitting twisties, it definitely, there's no way you're going to break loose. It definitely wants to make sure that, hey, you've got a passenger on here. I'm not going to let that rear end slide around because you could lose your passenger. All right, let's talk about the next mode. All right, so that's how you switch into 2-up mode. Let's say you don't have passenger at all or whatever, and you're thinking, all right, how do I change to the other modes? How do I change to Eco, Sport, and Rally mode? You go back to your screen here. Your button's on the left. This bottom button right here, you want to hold that, and that will change the modes for you. So if I hold this bottom button here, hold it once, as you can see, I'm in Sport mode. If you hold it again, now I'm in Eco mode, and you'll get that little Eco at the top there. Let's talk about Eco mode. So Can Am is touting this as, you save fuel economy and stuff like that. There have been several tests. I know Purple on 3 did a eco mode test on her Spyder F3. The fuel savings is minimal. And I say minimal because there have been some tests, and I've done it on my road trip to VAM down to Tazewell. You might get an extra 10, maybe 15 miles out of it, depending on how you're riding. If it's all highway, you'll probably see a little bit more. In my opinion, where eco mode shines, I kind of call it rain mode or weather mode. Again, this is a mode that will limit throttle response, it will limit stability control and traction control, and just kind of give you a little bit less than what you have in standard mode, but not as limiting as 2-up mode in the corners. So if we do. So, I mentioned throttle response. I can instantly feel it just rolling onto the throttle. You're not getting that clunk and that, that it just wants to get up and go. You really got to twist the throttle to get this thing to go. To get yourself the power. And again, you're not losing power. It's taking a little bit more throttle to get to the power that you have. Turning a little bit. Let's see if it lets me take this one. So yeah, you got a little bit more freedom than you do than in 2-up mode. But it won't let you get away with too much, because then it's going to shut you down before that rear end kind of kicks out a little bit. And I mentioned earlier, I call it rain mode because, again, like it says, it limits some of that traction control. It limits the throttle response and how open the throttle is in comparison to how much you're twisting the throttle. And I used that on the back of the Dragon. It started raining. I was in sport mode. I'm like, this is not the mode I need to be in, because I could not keep the rear end basically straight on some of the hairpin turns. So dropped it in eco mode, had a much easier time. That's where I suggest you use eco mode. If you want to try to use it to save gas, by all means, you guys can ride your ride and, give it a try. And let me know what you find, because I, like myself, a few other people have found, you're not saving as much as Can Am says that you are. I think it's good for limiting traction, and you could also use it for group rides or new riders or something like that. You could use it as kind of like a learning mode, because like I said, it limits certain things, but at the end of the day, if you want to twist that throttle all the way, you're still going to be able to get up to speed and have some of the power that you have. So let's talk about the fun mode. Let's talk about sport mode now. And interesting, we're in eco mode. So how do we get back to sport mode now that we're in eco mode? Go down here, hold that bottom button, and what it does, it'll go eco off. So now we're still back in standard mode. We got to hit it one more time. Now we are in sport mode. This is the mode that I spend 95% of my time riding in. One, you get awesome throttle response, and you get even better throttle response with a tune from Bill at BLRtuning. That's something that he's able to tune in with sport mode. And with that, this ups the limits of some of the VSS settings, stability control. You'll actually have to counter steer on drifts at this point if you're putting yourself into sport mode. That rear tire will light up as much as you need it to light up, and you're going to be able to take corners pretty hard. So I'm going to do what I can here without causing a scene. Boom, instant. You see, remember I talked about that clunk, and I don't know if the camera is able to pick that up or not, but eco mode, it doesn't do that. It's a nice linear beginning. Sport mode, you're twisting that throttle, and it wants to go. So we get the power. Whee! And again, you can take corners harder. There's some counter steering there. So it depends on how you're throwing yourself into the corner. Let's see. And you will indeed lift a wheel up. Oh, fun stuff. All right, let's get back on the road and finish talking about these modes. So yeah, just cruising the roads in sport mode like BPE does. Oh, it's a lot of fun. Able to hit the corners, able to do a little bit of drifting. You know, it gives me the way that my riding style is a little bit more freedom, so I know I can go into a corner a little hot, and the system probably won't shut me down. So that is it. I hope this video helps some people out, at least with the different modes, how to get there, and generally what the modes do. And yeah, if you guys have any questions for me, always leave me down in the comments, and while you're down there, do all the fun YouTube stuff, the liking, subscribing. Check out all the cool stuff I have in my description. I have not mentioned that yet. I mentioned Bill at BLRtuning, got some discount codes for him. Ironside Customs, I have some cool 3D printed stuff. I've got some cool merch for Blackphoenix Entertainment. You guys can support the channel that way. And I'm saving some money for the kittens for Moby Kit Rescue, also selling my hats for 20 bucks. And all that money goes to Moby Kit Rescue to save the kittens. With all that being said, I thank you guys for rocking with the flock. I'll see you on the next video.